Hey everyone, Keenan Gray here from DyeStat.com, bringing you another edition of DyeStat Discussions. While it is a busy week for Nike Cross Nationals, there is still one more region remaining for the Foot Locker Cross Country Championships on December 14th in Balboa Park. And this week it is the Foot Locker West Regional down at Mount SAC. And one of the athletes that made that West team last year looking to make it consecutive seasons back to Balboa Park is Kade Brownell from Mount Spokane, although representing Colbert, Washington. He joins us here on DyeStat Discussions. One of the things I wanted to talk about, and we could obviously the main focus is going to be around Foot Locker, but you were one of the top five individuals that made it for Nike Cross Nationals out of the Northwest region. You declined your invitation to go to Portland to race this coming weekend. Can you please tell people out there why you did it, but also the reason behind it?
Well, it all comes down to time. To start off, Bloomsday Association every year sends 16 of the best male and female from Spokane to Foot Locker Regional every year. And if I was to go to NXN, I that would have been my last race as a team at NXR. But by going to Foot Locker through Bloomsday, I get to have another trip and race again with all my friends and teammates from Spokane again.
Yeah, obviously including, Parker Westmore, who has been your teammate for the last 4 years at Mount Spokane under Coach Scott Dartha, and then you also bring in, as you mentioned, all these Spokane guys that you've grown up running against. Like, what's the importance of, running and representing the Bloomsday Roadrunners Club, especially at a meet like Foot Locker?
I mean, Bloomsday does a lot for us. I think it's really cool to represent them, and I mean, it's my senior year, so I'd rather take two races over one. I don't
For
have much
sure.
time left.
No, exactly. Like next year, obviously, you're going off to Washington State University next fall. But looking at this year, senior season, I mean, you had a lot of big expectations for yourself, especially what you were able to accomplish last fall, which was really kind of a big jump for you. You were more of a track guy the last couple of years, but really cross country has now kind of become your thing a little bit. Tell me a little bit, kind of the progression you made, from junior season to this year, and kind of put yourself in the national spotlight now.
Well, honestly, it's came down to my summer training. I went up to Mount Spokane, the actual mountain, many times with my teammates, and I just really put in a ton of elevation miles trying to get as much cross country preparation as I could. And so just going into races knowing that I'm at probably the fittest I've ever been in my high school career, I've just been trying to leave everything on the course. It's my last race for every single course I go to. Just want to leave it good.
One of the things I know about your coach is he likes to get you guys peaked at the very, very last race of the season. Do you feel like even like you PR'd at Nike Cross Regionals Northwest, great race. I mean, it was pretty conservative race if anybody were to watch that race. Did you feel like that was your best effort, or was that just like, you know what, that was a pretty solid effort, but I can do a little bit more?
I can definitely do a little more. You're right. Coach Dartha never he always says we never peak with his program because he doesn't want us to. So I think just throughout the season, I've obviously gotten better every single race. And last year, I PR'd at Foot Locker Regionals, and I had a pretty bad race at Nationals, so I didn't PR there. But I think I can keep getting better. And NXR, I put in a good effort, but I think if I could run the race again, I think I could have gotten a higher spot. I kind of surprised myself too.
Yeah. What did you take away from that race? Despite the PR part and knowing that you can put yourself in the conversation to go back to a national meet, whether it's Nike Cross Nationals or in this case, try to get to Foot Locker again.
Uh, I I got from that race that I think I can run with anyone. I mean, no guaranteeing whether I can beat them, but I truly think that I can run with anyone in the nation.
Okay. Did you get that sense when you went down to Foot Locker last year? Because that was your first opportunity to really get a test against the nation's best athlete. Obviously, it was more so California, Utah, and all those teams in that Foot Locker West region. But What did you get take? What did you take away from that race to qualify for Foot Locker?
Phew, for the regionals,
Mhm.
uh, that also was kind of a surprise. I went there with the intention of just having another last fun race, and I guess that kind of showed me that I can put myself in contention to be winning races, and I didn't win last year, but it really showed me that I can I can do stuff like that.
Mount SAC's one of the tougher courses in the entire country. What do you remember most about racing down there? You know, whether it was actual race day or no, going with the Bloomsday group and just having being a part of that culture and being part of that group for that last race of the year. Well, in this case, it wasn't your last race of the year. You moved on to Foot Locker.
hmm Uh, I remember it's super awesome. The course is super hilly, but hills are, I think, where I thrive the most when I race, especially with all the training I've been doing at Mount Spokane. But it's very, very hot at California. Last year it was almost 50 degrees hotter in California than it was here. So I've been purposely trying to in a way he acclimate. I've been wearing lots of heavy clothing when I've been doing my runs, just trying to get semi used to it because last year was a really big shock on my body going from 30 degrees to 80.
In that case, you know, take me through the race. You know, Josh Chu, who's a very, very talented runner, goes on to win the race. You know, Trey Caldwell's in the mix, Grant Morganfield. I mean, there was a lot of guys that were seniors that year that, you know, maybe perhaps pushed you to your limit. How'd you feel the overall race went to qualify for that West team?
I think it went great. I think I ran the race very smartly. Some races I've put myself in a really bad position and ran out to the front right away. And I'm not that kind of a runner. And sometimes, even though I know I'm not that kind of a runner, I still do it. So at regionals last year, I started in the back and kind of took out the first mile, relaxed, so I could really start pushing it the last 2 miles. And I think it ended up perfectly. I caught the whole pack of guys with probably a mile to go, and because I was so conservative the first mile, I was able to hang out with them and make it.
Feel at some point during the race that you were in a pretty good position where, because it looks like I'm just looking at the results right now. 10th place was 9 seconds ahead of 11. Did you feel you put yourself early on in a position that it was all right? I think I'm in a pretty good spot to move on to nationals.
In the beginning of the race, I had no clue. There's so many people in that race. I was just running. I was just trying to run my race, and in the back of my mind, I was very much thinking and hoping that I was going to catch the front pack because of how I ran the race. But until until 1 mile to go, I did not know if I was going to be making it. But once I hit the 2 mile mark, I knew I had my spot locked.
Somebody tell you you were in about in that top 10 position with a mile to go.
No, I was just looking around at everyone, and I could see everyone in front of me, and I knew there wasn't gonna be enough people behind me that were gonna be able to outkick me to push me out of the top 10.
Okay. So getting in that top 10, you qualify. What are the thoughts? What are the emotions like for you?
I was so happy. I mean, obviously last year I didn't qualify for NXR. I had a pretty bad race there. So to make it to Foot Locker, which I've been going to since my sophomore year, I was ecstatic to make it. I felt so good because that meant another race.
You qualify for maybe one of the best fields that Foot Locker has seen in a while last year. We're talking about like Drew Griffith, Ryan Pajak, Cameron Todd. The list goes on. Tamarack Gavenas. What was the opportunity like to go down to San Diego and race those guys, but also get to interact with them?
It was awesome. I Cameron Todd was actually my roommate, so I really enjoyed meeting him. It was a super great learning experience. I mean, it was kind of the first really big cross country meet I've ever been in besides regionals. So it was really a trip to have fun and learn as much as I could for the next year.
And I think, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I think you were the second ever Mount Spokane athlete to qualify for Foot
Uh,
Locker.
I think I was. Yeah, I think the only other person has been Johnny Dressel.
So when you hear something like that, like what does that say?
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm super excited. because
Yeah,
it's pretty
yeah,
not rare at our school.
yeah, no, especially like as you mentioned, Johnny Dressel goes on to run at the at Colorado, has a great career, All American career. Like what when you try to, and I'm sure Coach Dartha says, "Cade, I want you to just be Cade," but do you sometimes try to compare yourself to John Dressel and just try to chase down all of his times that he has set this barrier at Mount Spokane?
I wouldn't say I chase him himself, but I definitely chase his times because I want when I look at the records boards and I see that I'm second, I don't want to be second. I want to be first, and I know that I can be first. So it's I'm chasing his times, definitely.
Kind of just building up on everything, just like this week, assuming everything goes well, is not the culmination of your season, but these last 4 years have gone by so fast for you. You have like because it kind of has it been a blur for you? Like what really have these last 4 years meant to you?
It's gone by like a blur. I mean, my freshman and sophomore year, I thought I had so much time. I was like, man, these seasons are taking really long. I don't know if I can do this for another 4 years. But last year, I started to kind of realize, oh man, I only have one more year after this, and so far my cross country season has been trying to get the most out of my experiences with my team and just having fun.
Yeah. And I think probably that where that confidence started building up was during the track season your sophomore year when you both and Parker got to qualify for state that year, but also your team won the state title that year, I think. Like correct me if I'm
We
wrong.
got
I think
second. We got
you got
second by a
second.
couple
You got
points. Yes.
second that year. So what did that do for you going forward throughout the cross country season? I know track is different from that, but that had to have felt pretty good and to deliver something from Mount Spokane.
Yeah, it motivated me to want to do more. I want to win every race that I go into. I want to represent Mount Spokane because I love my school. So getting second and then qualifying for the state meet is just given like a fire in my heart to get better and better.
Well, I think the same spirit is with someone at Washington State right now in Evans Curry, who wants to be the best athlete probably in the NCAA. Tell me about your decision to go to Washington State University, and obviously being a local guy just right up the road from Pullman, and there's a tradition of a lot of fast Spokane people going down there. Like I'm thinking like Justin Janke. Like that one's the first one that comes to mind. But what was the decision behind going to WSU and going to run down there for Coach Phipps?
Honestly, it came down to the team. I love the team. It's close by to my house, so it's not really I'm not in Spokane, but I'm within distance to go see my parents every weekend if I really wanted to. And I've always been a WSU fan. I've always been a Coug fan, so getting to represent them, I'm pretty excited too. And yeah, that's about it.
Think they're excited to have you as well. But looking ahead to this Saturday, like as I've mentioned this many times, one last go. But the goal is just to make that top 10. But really, like, what do you want to really accomplish this Saturday? Knowing that, as you said before, you don't want to peak at this race, but you probably want to make a little bit of a statement to the country at saying, "I'm here to stay, and I want to get back to nationals."
Yeah, I'm still thinking about how I want to run it because if I'm in the position to win, I'm still not sure if it's the smartest idea to blow out my legs and win the race when I have nationals in a week. So it's something that I still need to talk to my coach about whether I should just try to secure a spot for sure or if I'm in the position to win if I should just go for it all.
Whatever it takes. Top
Mhm.
10, that's all that matters. And then, change that mind because I know last year at Nationals, I think you got 35th, and I'm sure you would like to be in that All American contention, which I believe is top 15 at Foot Locker. So definitely in position for that. And could perhaps, maybe this West team could do some damage this year. I mean, like, what do you think? I mean, I don't know if you've been able to see the individuals that are racing, but do you think because of all the California guys that are going to be there and just maybe some Utah guys as well, like could this be the year the West team perhaps gets it done this year?
I definitely think it could, and I also truly believe that the West is kind of the underdogs of all the regions because we have the hardest course terrain wise, and it's the closest to the national meet, so we have the least amount of time to recover. But I do think that we could definitely take the title as the West region this year.
10 spots, one region. Try to qualify all for Balboa Park here on December 14th. Cade, best of luck this Saturday at Mount SAC. Good luck, and hopefully everything goes well for you.
Thank you so much.